Imagine a play where two people agree on everything. They sit down, have a pleasant chat, and go home. That is a conversation, not a play. To turn that interaction into a story about survival or justice, you need a struggle between opposing forces. In the Ugandan curriculum, we define this struggle as dramatic conflict. It is the engine that drives a plot forward and forces characters to make difficult choices. These struggles generally fall into two categories. Internal conflict happens within. It is a character's struggle with their own conscience or beliefs. External conflict happens without, a struggle against outside forces like society, nature, or another character. Identifying whether a conflict is internal or external is the first step toward recognizing the specific social issues the playwright is addressing. To see how we analyze these tensions, we will look at Wole Soyinka and his play, The Trials of Brother Jero. This conflict map identifies three things: opposing forces, the nature of their conflict, and the predicted outcome. Here, the opposing forces are Brother Jero and Chume. Their conflict is a struggle for power, predicting an outcome of direct confrontation. While mapping external conflict shows us the physical action of the play, it doesn't always explain the characters' underlying motivations. Be careful not to assume that loud external fights are the only conflicts that matter. Those visible arguments are often driven by a character's private, internal struggles. Take Jero. His internal conflict is the tension of maintaining a holy prophet facade while being driven by greed. It is this specific hypocrisy that forces him into conflict with characters like Chume, who threaten his secret. Understanding this internal fraud is essential. It is the actual root cause of Jero's need to externally manipulate his followers to maintain his status. Now, let's apply the map to Oko Patek's Song of Lewino. Notice the setting in this image. It represents the traditional African customs Lewino values. Contrast that village with this bustling urban scene. Her husband, Okol, moves towards this city life, adopting Western modernity. By choosing this new environment, he creates a direct clash with the traditions Lewino lives by. Pause the video here. Draw your own three-box conflict map for this scene. Is the struggle between Lewino and Okol internal, external, or both? Here is the map. The forces are Lewino versus Okol and modernity. The nature of the conflict is a cultural clash that is both internal and external. The outcome is often isolation or rejection. This mapping technique shows how playwrights use a single family's arguments to reflect the broader friction between indigenous traditions and modern life in Uganda. Finally, we consider a concept called the director's intervention. This is the idea that how a character chooses to respond to a conflict defines the play's ultimate theme. Look at how the theme changes based on the response. If the conflict between Jero and Chume escalates into aggression, the theme becomes one of social chaos. If they respond with negotiation, the theme shifts toward justice. Screenshot this table. It summarizes the primary conflicts and themes for the major plays in your O-level drama curriculum. Mastering conflict mapping helps you do more than pass an exam. It empowers you to evaluate the social commentary and values presented in any performance you watch. For more guided lessons across all your subjects, visit the Yaka Digital Network. Keep learning.